Hey everybody, Ryan here at etrailer. Today we're going to be checking out the Blue Ox 7-6 coiled cable cord for towed vehicles. Now this is going to be a critical part to be able to transfer the lighting functions from the back of your motorhome to the back of your towed vehicle. That's very important. You want people to know what your intentions are as you're going down the road, and you want to make sure to stay safe and legal. So on one end of the cable, we're going to have a 7-way connector. The other end, we're going to have a 6-way round. That's an extremely common setup, and generally speaking, the majority of motorhomes on the road today are going to have a similar setup like this. So this kit not only comes with the cord, but it's also going to come with the 6-way round connector plug that you can mount to the front of your vehicle. That way you can plug your 6-way round side into it. And that's good because not all the wiring kits are going to come included with those two components. So if your kit does not, you can pick this up and solve that issue. Or some of the other wiring kits that do have those components aren't of the highest quality. And this is where this setup here kind of differs from those. It is very well made. Once you get it in your hand, you can tell it's super thick. All right, there's a really nice casing on it, and actually inside of the casing there's silicone in there as well. That way everything is perfectly sealed. You know it's going to last and hold up a long time, especially considering, you know, this is outside the majority of the time, generally speaking. You know, behind a motorhome doing 60, 70 miles an hour, you want this to be tough and hold up. And I think this is exactly what is going to happen with this setup. One thing that I noticed, you know, I see a lot of different cables and flat tow components, and one of the things I noticed that really differs with this one is the ends are going to be kind of like almost a hard rubber, and they're going to be completely sealed. All right, so they're watertight, and that's really going to help prolong the life of the cable. A lot of times when we see issues with the cables, it has to do with corrosion. And that's because moisture and things like that can get inside and damage the terminals. And I really don't see that being an issue with this one, at least not for a long time. Really the only thing that's going to be exposed, and if you're not even using it, is the terminals there. When they're plugged in, they're going to be sealed and everything else. So unless you leave this outside on accident for a long time, really shouldn't have nothing to worry about. You can apply some dielectric grease to those terminals just to be on the safe side, and really kind of go the extra mile to keep them in good shape. And I mentioned some of the other ones being a little more open. So just to give you an example, I grabbed one of those. And you can really see what I'm talking about here. So this is a metal housing on one side and a plastic one on the other. And you can see where our wire goes in and connects to the actual, you know, terminals on the back of our plug. It's not sealed. There's definitely more than enough open space for moisture to get trapped inside of there and start corroding the terminals. Same holds true for the 7-way side. There is a little rubber seal there, but I mean, that's only going to do so much. You know, water can find its way into just about anything. And so even having a small opening there will eventually cause corrosion and lead to issues down the road. So with that said though, that doesn't mean that this coiled cable isn't going to work for you or do a great job by any means. We've had luck with these ones. I just thought it was worth noting that, you know, comparing the ends, in my opinion, this one is going to have that slide advantage since it's sealed up and we essentially have no risk there. Let's go ahead and just kind of check the plug out that comes with it. Nothing too crazy about it. It is plastic, and that's really common. You see a lot of them like this. I will say it is well made. One thing I want to mention though, the kit does not come included with a bracket to mount this plug up. Not really a huge deal. A lot of base plates come with the bracket for you to do that. And if not, we offer a ton of different types of brackets available here at etrailer that you could use to get this mounted up the way you want it. One thing I do like is the cap is spring loaded. It's got quite a bit of tension on it actually. That way when you're not using it, it's going to seal up the terminals nice and tight, prevent, you know, moisture and debris from getting in there and chewing them up. And when you are using it, you can see on the bottom of the cap there's going to be a catch there. All right, and what that's going to do, when you plug in the end, can see there's a small little catch on that as well. When you plug this in, that catch is going to kind of rest on the end of our cable, and that's going to prevent it from accidentally getting pulled out. So kind of a safety measure there, knowing that once you have it plugged in, kind of have that peace of mind knowing it's not going to just come rattling out or anything like that. So as far as the length of the cable goes, whenever it's completely stretched out from end to end, it's going to be 7 foot. And generally speaking, that's going to be more than enough for just about any flat toe situation on the road. Even in a case like our stay, we have a high-low adapter that extends out further and pushes our tow bar back. We have a really long tow bar, so kind of a longer setup than most, generally speaking. This is still going to give us all the length we need and then some to work properly and be set up correctly. Something that I do want to bring up is the fact that there are different types of cables. I'm not sure if you guys have ran into that or not or noticed it, but some are coiled, like the one we're checking out today, and some are just straight. And you might be wondering, well, why would I need one or the other? All right. With a coiled cable like this, you want to use it in a situation where your tow bar does not have channels along the side of it. So our tow bar does not have channels. We want the coiled cable. And that's because when we're going straight, you know, there's going to be some tension on our wire, and it's going to keep it up off the ground out of harm's way. But when we make those wide turns or, you know, make a corner or something like that, it's going to stretch out and give us that additional length that we need. Now, for those of you that have tow bars with those channels in there, in order to utilize those properly, you want to get a cable kit that is indeed straight. That way you can run that cable through the channels, plug it in, and have it set up like it should be and what the channels were intended for. The cable is going to have that really nice coating on it we kind of talked about a moment ago, and it's going to be water resistant. So if you get hung up out in the rain, not a big deal, not going to have to worry about it. And it's also chemical resistant. So most automotive chemicals and things like that aren't going to affect it. And that's important. You know, you're going down the road, people leak oil, coolant, all types of things. So, you know, if your RV throws that up on there, not the end of the world. This is going to hold up to it. With that said, though, you know, it's never a bad idea to keep this protected when you're not using it. You know, if you let something sit outside, I don't care what it is, eventually the weather's just going to wear down on it. With that said, when you're not using it, not a bad idea if you know, got a storage compartment in your motorhome or something like that to throw it in there. Or if you want to keep everything together, maybe, you know, a lot of people like to have their tow bar, just keep it on the back of their motorhome so it's easy setup. That's perfectly fine. If that's what you choose to do, I would suggest just picking up a bag or a cover. That way you can put it over all those components and just kind of give it one extra line of defense against all of the weather. As far as the installation goes, it's pretty much going to be the exact same regardless on what type of vehicle you have. On the back of your 6-way connector, there's going to be some terminals, and you can just hook those up to your wiring. That way, whenever we do send our signals through, it'll run them back to your taillights and allow them to function. When that's done, this more or less just plugs in. All right, so 6-way round, get plugged right into the connector, and the 7-way will just go right into the back of the motorhome. And that's really all there is to it. Now, keep in mind, for you to just be able to plug this right in, you are going to need a functioning 7-way on the back of your motorhome. If you don't and need to replace it or want to upgrade to one, you can always find them right here at eTrailer as well. But at the end of the day, a really nice setup actually. Well built, should last a long time, and should be able to definitely get quite a few miles out of it. But with that said, that'll finish up our look at of the Blue Ox 7-6 electrical coiled cable cord.